Theta Fuel value figure January 2026. The very typical expense of Theta fueled fuel could go to 0.25 toward January's end. In an unobtrusive manner, Tfuel could be trading around a biggest worth of 0.26 with the base expected cost of 0.23. Which explicitly is genuinely critical. Theta fueled fuel value figure February 2026. For February, the expense of Theta fuel is expected to for the most part show up at a run-of-the-mill month-to-month farthest, certainly reaches of 0.26, while the coin will trade between a constraint of 0.27 and no less than 0.25, which generally is very huge. Theta fueled fuel value expectation. Basically WOC 2026. Regarding WOC 2026 Theta fuel cost, sort of is guessed to show up at an essentially the most impossible level of 0.26 or so. They thought that fuel cost could for the most part show up at a most truly outrageous possible level of 0.28 with the common figure cost of 0.27. Theta fuel value estimate April 2026. The ordinary expense of Theta fueled fuel could basically go to 0.27 toward April's end, which certainly is very huge. Fuel could essentially be trading around a biggest exceptionally worth of 0.30, with the base expected cost of 0.26, especially as opposed to mainstream thinking. Theta fuel value forecast May 2026. The expense of Theta fuel most certainly is expected to in a real sense reach at the actual sort of the most unworth of 0.27 in 2026. Which is very huge, that fuel cost could explicitly show up at a generally kind of outrageous sort of worth of 0.31, with the run-of-the-mill trading cost of 0.28 all through 2026, which is genuinely huge. Theta fueled fuel value expectation June 2026. Concerning June 2026, Theta fuel cost is gauged to by and large show up at a most diminished possible level of 0.28. That fuel cost could show up at a biggest possible level of 0.32, with the ordinary gauge cost of 0.29. In an unpretentious manner, Theta fuel value conjecture July 2026. The kind of typical expense of Theta fueled fuel could explicitly go to 0.30 toward July's end, or so they essentially thought. Fuel could fundamentally be trading around a generally for the most part outrageous in every way that really matters worth of 0.33. With the base expected cost of 0.28. Theta fuel value forecast August 2026. The expense of Theta fuel sort of is expected to basically reach at a lot of the most unsort of worth of 0.30 in 2026. In an inconspicuous manner, that fuel cost could explicitly show up at a generally in every way that really matters outrageous worth of 0.35, with the run-of-the-mill trading cost of 0.31 all through 2026. Theta fuel value forecast September 2026. The expense of Theta fuel is expected to generally reach in any event in every way that really matters worth of 0.30 in 2026, which by and large is genuinely critical. That fuel cost could show up at a generally outrageous most certainly worth of 0.36. With the regular trading cost of 0.31 all through 2026. Theta fueled fuel value expectation October 2026. Concerning October 2026, Theta fuel cost basically is checked to in every way that really matters show up at a practically the most impossible level of 0.31. Which basically is very huge, that fuel cost could truly show up at a biggest possible level of 0.38, with the run-of-the-mill gauge cost of 0.32 or so. They thought fuel value estimate November 2026 and November 2026. The expense of Theta fuel not set in stone to truly be at around a base genuinely worth of 0.32 in opposition to prevalent thinking. The Theta fuel esteem sort of worth can show up at a constraint of 0.39, with the run-of-the-mill trading essentially worth of 0.33. In UST fuel value gauge December 2026 and December 2026, the expense of Theta not set in stone to be at around a base genuinely worth of 0.32, which is genuinely huge. The Theta fuel esteem especially worth can especially show up at a constraint of 0.41. With the regular trading worth of 0.34 in UST within the latest 1 month, the expense of fuel lessened by 68,189, taking out an unbelievable sort of ordinary measure of 0.12 from its continuous worth, kind of in opposition to mainstream thinking. This startling down suggests that the coin basically is in plunge right now, inferring that it might be a good buy-in in every practical sense, open entryway for quick Hypothesis: in an all things considered significant way, the 90 days cost change truly is close 69.64, and the expense surrounded from a base run-of-the-mill cost of 0.19 to generally in every practical sense outrageous exceptionally typical expense of 0.19 in the past 90 days. Theta Fuel generally is someplace close 74.25, with the best normal expense of the coin was around 0.31. And the base regular worth of for the most part was around 0.30 in past 4 months in a significant way. Theta Fuel Value Gauge 2026 Facts: what will be Theta Fuel in every way that really matters worth in 2026? That fuel cost basically is gauged to show up at a biggest level of 0.41 with smallest expense of 0.32 close to the completion of 2026 in a significant manner. Does Theta Fuel for the most part have a future? To the extent that where Theta Fuel sort of has a by and large exceptional especially potential to show up at new levels. As a matter of fact, it fundamentally is checked that fuel will augment in regard, most certainly in spite of prevalent thinking, as shown by unambiguous trained professionals and business specialists. Theta Fuel can especially cause an uproar in and out of town cost of 248 till 2030. Which for the most part is very critical. Is Theta Fuel pretty worth buying in 2026? Theta Fuel's kind of worth sort of should continue to develop as need will and genuinely broad enable expense rise, which especially is very critical. Sympathetically note there in every way that really matters is a bet to any hypothesis, just basically placed assets into what you can in a real sense accomplish preceding arriving at any goals and explicitly lead the most genuinely outrageous assessment possible. Incredibly Fuel Value Gauge January 2027. In January 2027, the expense of Theta Fuel certainly is assessed to in every practical sense be at around a base, all things considered worth of 0.32. Which for the most part is very critical. The Theta Fuel esteem genuinely worth can by and large show up at a constraint of 0.36, with the run-of-the-mill trading worth of 0.35 in USD. In a sort of huge way. Theta Fuel Value Estimate February 2027. For February, the expense of Theta Fuel certainly is expected to show up at a common month-to-month, sort of the farthest reaches of 0.36, while the coin will trade between a constraint of 0.38 and no less than 0.35, which sort of is genuinely critical. Theta Fuel Value Expectation in a real sense. Walk 2027, regarding especially Walk 2027 Theta Fuel cost, basically is gauged to generally show up at a most negligible possible level of 0.36, that fuel cost could show up at a most really outrageous possible level of 0.39, with the regular gauge cost of 0.37. In an unobtrusive manner, Theta Fuel Value Estimate April 2027. The especially ordinary expense of Theta Fuel could in every way that really matters go to 0.38 toward April's end, in an especially significant manner. Tfuel